Welcome to the best thing you watched this week. We're in the year of 2022. This is our first official podcast for 2022. We did drop one for New Year's, which we pre-recorded because we were getting ready to wrap up the year. But we're back, season 2, and I'm excited because we're talking about our top 10 movies that we're looking forward to coming in 2022 and top 10 series. And I found it very difficult because there was so much on either side. Like just even putting 10 at one stage where we were going to do 5. And I was like, no, that's too little. So anyway, hello from Chris.
Hello.
From Movies and Munchies. Ruben from the Ruby Tuesday. Before we start, Chris, knock knock.
Who's there?
Europe.
Europe who?
It's the best joke
We're 10-year-olds. I love it. Well, can I tell you a quick story?
Sure.
So I've been doing a lot of home remodeling in the last week and a half or so. And one of the big projects is our garage. And so we've been cleaning out all kinds of stuff to make room for some exercise equipment and stuff. And so I've been getting rid of things and putting things out on the corner for people to take for free. And I got rid of some tools that I was no longer using. And this old guy at one point had come over and he was asking me stuff and he took a bunch of the tools. Later on in the day, he came back, but he couldn't see me because I was working in one area of the garage that was just not visible to the street. But I hear everything. And my 2 sons and my daughter-in-law are sitting in the garage, just kind of helping, going through stuff. And I hear this voice say, "Hey, hi, how you doing? I was here earlier. Is there an older gentleman that lives here?" Now I look over. My daughter-in-law is like biting her lip because she is trying so hard not to laugh out loud. Now I look, okay, I'm gray. Okay, I'm not an older gentleman. This dude who's asking could have been my dad. So so I poke my head around and I answer his question and he goes on. And my daughter-in-law just starts cracking up. My sons are snickering and laughing. And I'm like, was that hurtful? That seemed hurtful to me. Oh, so
You've
that was
aged
my
20 years suddenly.
That's how my New Year started off. I was called an
great.
older gentleman. And no offense to older gentlemen, I mean, that's fine. I know I'm getting older. That's fine. But I'm not older yet. Come on.
Because of your Gandalf hair.
That must be what it is. It's time for Just for Men. I'm just going to dye it all dark brown or black or something like that. And that'll not look right at all.
Well, as you can see, my long hair is out today because I had a conditioning treatment that my wife tried to use with blue dye, and it didn't take at all. So my hair was like, no, sorry, nope.
But you have beautiful long locks.
Yes, I can be Goldilocks. Yay. I should have tied it up or done really nice moustache like a
yes.
proper old. Really, that just looks like a walrus.
You could come out of Lord of the Rings.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Get it out of my mouth. Right.
All right.
After that.
Yes, neither here nor there, but hey.
So we're going to try and rank them. We're starting with movies. So at number 10, Chris, what's your 10th movie that you're looking forward to in 2022?
All right. Well, I'm going to do Thor, Love and Thunder.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah. This is my number Thor number 4.
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to it. I love what Taika Waititi does there. I know there has a bit of a mixed audience reception. Some people think they've gone too far in the funny. Mm-hmm. I really thought Thor Ragnarok was my favorite of the 3. I thoroughly entertained it. From the opening to the dragons to just the Hulk. Yeah. I know him. We're work buddies.
Well, and so much of it was ad-libbed also, which I think is outstanding.
They let them play. Yeah.
So
I'm really looking forward to see what they do with Thor Love and Thunder. We know we've got some of the other characters coming back as well. So that's great. My number 10 is The Flash, because I really like Ezra as The Flash. Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see, because I think this is going to be finishing off the main actors that we have at the moment, and then they're going to be doing like their individual stories. So it's possibly the last time we see Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck as Batman and Superman in their kind of roles. Who knows, in this universe it's possible to bring them back at any point.
Sure.
But as far as I'm aware, I think that one could be. So I'm tentatively excited for that one. Although for me, the DC live action is a bit hit or miss. You have your greats and not so great. It just depends where you sit in that. So yeah, my number 9 is Knives Out 2. I love a bit of whodunit, and apparently that's this year.
I can't believe I didn't have that on my list. That's yes, totally. I love the first one. I thought Daniel Craig, actually the whole cast, really did such a great job. So do we know, is Lakeith Stanfield going to come back also with Daniel Craig? Because his straight man to Daniel Craig's eccentricities were just, they worked so well. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know it's a completely new mystery, which I presume will be continuing forward if they do 3 and 4. Will be other mysteries, like Inspector Poirot, just figuring out what's going on. But yeah, a little bit of whodunit, trying to guess who it is, with the cast that is always quite eclectic. Really fun.
Yes, definitely.
So what's at your number 8?
Or my number 9 actually would be Top Gun Maverick. I don't know if this movie's ever coming out.
I don't even have this in my top 10 because I'm just like,
I see, and this is the one that I'm like, I don't want to see it at home. It needs to be seen on a theater because of just the grandeur of what they do. With
the planes, the plane scenes alone. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it's towards the bottom of my list. I'm still looking forward to it, but I've been looking forward to it for 2 years. So yeah, I'm like that with this film. If it comes out, I'll go and watch it, and maybe it'll be as fun as the original, but doubtful. Doubtful the campiness of the 80s. What you're able to. Is it just nostalgia, us wanting a sequel? Is there really a good enough story, a reason enough for Top Gun 2 to exist? I don't know. Yeah,
but it's fun thinking about what they could do with technology now in planes. But part of what made Top Gun original great was that they actually did dogfights. It was all filmed. Obviously there's bits that they're embellished, and some parts of the cockpits and stuff will be. But a lot of what they did, which is Tom Cruise being crazy again, wanted that to be real. Which adds, and I think you can't fake that. It adds an air of authenticity where you see your actors being pulled at so many G's. Yeah, can't fake that. Yeah,
no.
So for me, number 8 is Creed 3.
Okay.
Tentatively, because obviously we had the director of 1 and 2 is now different because our lead actor who is playing Creed, Apollo Creed. Is it Apollo Creed? It's not Creed. It's taking the name Creed.
It's his son, right?
Yeah, it's his son. Yeah. And he's directing it this time. This is his story, so he's acting and directing it.
Oh, Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, this is. So it's no longer with Sylvester. Sylvester will have a hand in it, but there's no directing from him. So I think it's going to be interesting to see. What he's directing will be like this. Love the first 2. I'm not a huge boxing fan in movies, but there's a few that stand out to me, like Ali or Raging Bull. I think it's still Will Smith's best film, Ali. Raging Bull, I don't want to see it again, but I know it's amazing. What do you think? Creed 3?
I honestly, I've never seen 1 and 2. So I know. It was perfect timing for you to be drinking. It was almost like a spit take there. No,
I know. Gosh.
And I love Michael B. Jordan. And you know what? I really have enjoyed the Rocky series for the most part.
Seriously, these are so much better than you think they're going to be.
Well, and honestly, I think I'd have to check my closet. I think I have at least Creed 1 on Blu-ray.
Do yourself a favor, put 1 on and be like, And then you'll be like, all right, I get what everybody was talking about. It's also really entertaining. So it's not one of those boxing films that it's for the art of the film. Yeah, it looks spectacular, but it's really for the story, which is great.
Well, and I'm a huge Michael B. Jordan fan. So,
yeah,
he's that alone right there is, there's no good reason for me not to have ever seen it. It's just anytime there's been an opportunity, it's just something else has taken the spot. And so, yeah, I know. Everybody's yelling at me in the comments right now. How the heck have you not seen
those films?
Exactly.
Chris.
I know.
You need the eye of the tiger.
Yeah. All right.
What's your number 8?
My number 8 is Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Have you seen?
Never even heard of this.
I believe it's Michelle Yeoh. It's an A24 film, and it looks, Jamie Lee Curtis is in it also. And it's kind of messes with time and maybe even space. I've only seen the teaser, the initial trailer. I have not researched into it, but it just looks very intriguing.
Michelle Yeoh and A24, that pretty much seals the deal for me.
Yeah, and it's not, I think there might be a little bit of action in there, but it's not so much, it's not like that type of movie. It's more of a drama, and so there's probably like some lesson that a character has to learn, or as they travel through time, or maybe it's, different lives of, lives, that the characters is experiencing as things go on. It just looks weird to me, and it looks like something that I would be totally into. So, yeah,
amazing. As long as Jamie Lee Curtis gets to leave the room she's in, I'm down for her being in the film.
Well, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, she has a like a bob haircut, so she's not like the long hair that she has in Halloween, but it also not the very short that she has pulled off so well in a lot of years. It's kind of this weird thing, and I think if I'm remembering correctly, that when I first saw her, it was more of like, is that Jamie Lee Curtis? Yeah, so
weird. You have to double take.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So looking forward to that.
And going to number 7, Turning Red, which we talked about earlier. Off camera, because Disney are now putting that on their streaming service, Disney Plus only, which makes me sad because it is a film. I don't mind watching most animated films at home. Yeah, some of them just feel like they're big though, and like Raya at the Last Dragon. That is something you want to see on the big screen. Now I'm lucky enough to have a 4K projector and surround sound, so I will get most of that. But it's still the sharing experience with a full cinema of people enjoying a Disney or like a hero film, like watching Spider-Man. I understand why they're doing it, I guess, because COVID, because that's still a thing apparently in 2022. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this. I think it looks really cute, but it also looks like it could be one of their better ones. I feel like they do this. For the most part, they're always great. But some, for me, just like, you've got a really deep, emotional, fun story for a film that I want to come back to. And it looks like to me that it might be one of those.
Agreed. Yeah. And anytime you have cute looking animals, that like notches it up for me. Like I'm drawn in even more.
Yeah. So. Add a bit of Studio Ghibli in there.
Yeah. My number 7.
7? Yeah.
I know nothing about this film. I've only seen a poster, which I think that's pretty much what the whole world has, but it is Jordan Peele's Nope.
Oh, right. Yeah. I didn't even have this in there because I knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
But you like Jordan Peele?
I do. I really, really loved Get Out.
Right.
I totally enjoyed Us as well. And just some of the complexities within that. And the mystery and the what did this mean? You know what I mean? Some of the dissecting that takes place after viewing. Yeah. This, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what it is. I don't even know the basis of this. The poster is all I've ever seen of it, is like a town with this circular cloud hanging over it, and then what looks like a kite tail, even though the kite tail, I think, is made up of something else.
But you never quite know, because the imagery it's all about the imagery for him in his films, or teacups and ding.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be a weird one for sure.
Yeah.
That's a great ad. Yeah.
There you go.
So we were talking about whodunits, and I know the first reimagining of this one, this is the sequel, had people mixed. The Orient Express. I really loved the Orient Express.
I did too.
The Kenneth Branagh. Oh, you did? Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I thought the cast was excellent, and I loved the reveal. I think it had been so long since I'd seen the original that it was like watching a fresh movie, but I love Kenneth Branagh, and I love the directing. I thought it was spectacular. So I'm really looking forward to, fantastic mustache. Yeah, I wish. Death on the Nile is my number 6, because I was like, well, if that's what you gave us for the first time, who knows what you're going to do with the second one.
It is very curious. I don't know if you've seen it, but that because Armie Hammer is still entrenched in all of that controversy, and I don't know much about it other than it. I mean, if it's true, it's not good at all.
No, not at
but that they've moved forward with him, that he's still prominent in the marketing, even, on the movie poster, he's one of the people up that's closer to the front. So it was just, I thought that was a curious way to go with the marketing, especially when you have one of your stars.
I would have paid money to change that up. Like, I know that Armie Hammer was in a film recently that they've had to refilm, and they've replaced him with another actor, and they've done that reshoot, and that's fine. But for a film that's been done, you can't then go and do it. You can't get all those actors back and get them to react to each other. It doesn't work like that, especially for this film.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how well this does in light of that, because sometimes people remember that and they don't really want to put their money to. It's not helping the cause, but it's like that guy's getting paid, and if it brings up a whole kettle of fish. As they say.
Yes, that's a very weird.
It's a strange
phrasing.
saying.
Kettle of fish.
A kettle of fish.
Okay.
Let us know in the comments below. What is your favorite strange saying?
Yes. That's good. And also, while you're there in the comments, let us know what's on your top 10 movie list that's anticipated for 2022, and even your shows, because we will get to those in just a bit as well.
We'll get to those.
So
what's your 6?
My number 6 is a sequel as well.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to how they handle it. It's Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I do my best to stay away from a lot of information about movies that I'm excited about, because I don't want them to be ruined. I mean, look at Spider-Man and my reactions there. But I'm glad that they're moving forward, and I know that Ryan Coogler, right, who directed the first one, he's coming back for this, and I know that that they're going to be very respectful and give a good homage to Chadwick Boseman. I'm just very curious at how they're going to handle that and how they're going to transition the story. I
didn't even put this on my honorable mentions because I like the first one, but I wasn't as enamored as everybody else was with it. I really enjoyed it, but when you're ranking your Marvel films, it would probably be nearer the lower end of films for me.
Sure. Having
said that, I loved Chadwick Boseman in that role. I thought it was fantastic. I do think they're actually making a mistake at not recasting him. Not because of you're not honoring him. I do think for a Black Panther film, you need a Black Panther. And as far as I'm aware, they're not going to have one. They're just carrying on with the story of Black Panther in that world.
Oh, really?
Which I think is a really strange decision. Yeah, a while ago, I think it was Kevin Feige said that they weren't recasting Black Panther, which means they have to have another character that isn't Black Panther. And then there was the sister that people thought might take on the role or be a mixture of the role and an Iron Man sort of role. But she's been in the news for not wanting her injections from COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So they've stepped back away with that. And so it's been hard going for this film to even get made. So I think from that standpoint, I think it'll be interesting to see what they come out with. We were talking about Creed earlier. Ryan Coogler directed those.
Okay. Yeah.
Another reason for you to watch those films.
Definitely.
I just.
Well, see, I think
I don't know about this.
I don't follow the comics at all, so I have no ideas. I mean, my entire knowledge comes from the actual MCU. But I thought that the Black Panther persona was more of a mantle that could be passed along, and so maybe that's how they're going to do it. But again, I don't know for sure.
Maybe that's how they do it, because it was his father in the film who was Black Panther before, and then he took on that mantle. So if they do that, I think that's fine, because if they somehow show a battle, even if it's CGI or use the technology where he dies, and then they have to, that's the only way I can see them doing it justice, rather than them not actually having a Black Panther character. Seems weird to even label it Black Panther.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, I am a little worried about that one, but we'll see, I guess. It made all the monies, and did it win an Oscar in the end? I'm not sure. I know it was definitely up for one. I mean, interestingly enough, this year Disney have put forward Black Widow for the Oscars, so which makes me laugh. But yeah, okay.
That is.
I liked it, but I don't understand.
I liked
part of it
too, but that
is Florence Pugh. Maybe they're just putting her up because I think you could put her up for any award. I think she's fantastic. But
she was spectacular in that.
Yes, so
funny. Yeah.
Okay. So that was your 6, right?
Yes.
Okay. So my 5 is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
That's my number 1.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to let me down, but I don't know. It could also be have so much in it, because I've heard lots of things, and I don't want to say anything because I know you like to go completely fresh into it. So I know this character that might be appearing and that character because it's the Multiverse of Madness. You're like, but I really want an emotional story that I can get to grips with, because in this, as much as I love the Spider-Man film we just had, it really felt like he lost a lot of his powers. Like he just wasn't nearly all powerful, like what we'd seen him in previous, like Endgame,
yes.
Where he's learning to be the master and control, even without the eye, without the Infinity Stone.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like if what's happening, like you can't control a spell because some teen is
talking at you.
Yeah, come on. So I'm hoping that they solidify the characters. We have an emotional punch with those. But what we've seen so far, because we got that little trailer, didn't we?
Yeah,
like a proper clip at the end of Spider-Man, and then they released it later. And I was like, this looks good. And Wanda, hello Wanda. We wonder what she's been up to since WandaVision.
Yeah. I heard that it is pushing, at least right now, 3 hours, which
I heard that. I hope they stick to that.
Me too. I'm good with that. And especially if you have a story that is robust and complicated, that you don't rush it, for the sake of just time, that if the story warrants it and you can make it compelling, keep it in there and let the story flourish from that. I don't know. I'm hoping, just based on what I watched from Loki, which I had a lot of fun with that. And you just see the, I don't remember his name, but Jonathan Majors' character.
Oh yeah.
Just,
he's now like all the big bads, all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So to just see where this all plays in, they do
need to tie it together with this film, I think.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I agree with you that it needs to have an emotional punch as well. that you can't just be zany action all over the place and just, bouncing from spot to spot. There has to be a reason to ground it, to make us really care about some of the characters, and I care about Doctor Strange, and I care about Wanda, and I'm sure whichever other characters they pull in that we care about them, but you think of just the initial Doctor Strange movie was, a lot of it was just that character growth of him.
That's why it worked so well. Before we got the magics, he was the surgeon that had lost himself in this work, and we had this love relationship with someone that, loved him, breaking his fingers so he can't be a surgeon anymore in that horrific accident.
Yeah.
And then him having this journey of becoming someone of worth and actually making a difference in the world again. Basically being a physicist, a surgeon of magic. That's what he becomes. He uses all of that, and they still have that relationship at the end of Doctor Strange. I don't know if we see her again in other films, but they kind of need to bring that in, or they're just going to do like a Natalie Portman and push her to the side. And Natalie Portman's coming back for a big part in
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
So girlfriends, they have recurring roles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what is the story of Doctor Strange that's going to be the emotional punch? Because it could be multiverse is opened now, we need to go and save the day. I'm calling Wanda, I'm calling these other characters. There's a big villain over there that's opening them. We need to stop these characters. It could be there. And along the way, we have some quirky, fun dialogue lines and some sadness because some people have died. And remember when Tony Stark, I remember, and then you come back. But what is the story? Because there still isn't really a story there that's going to make us go,
yeah.
So it has to be about character. So I guess we'll see. I'm very excited about it, though.
Cool.
So that's your number 1. What's your number 5 then?
Mission Impossible 7. I
have this as an honorable mention. Yeah.
Okay. I love the Mission Impossible movies. I mean, they're so much fun. I think it's crazy that Tom Cruise does so many of his stunts. The man, he's older than I am. He's in way better shape. I mean, I guess he's paid also to just work out at points too, and do things like that. But it makes the movie so much fun and so real, but then just the entire cast that supports around there. I mean, one of my favorite actors, Simon Pegg, just seeing him as Benji in that is just always
he's so good in that.
Yeah. Just, the banter that comes, and the
What's your favorite one?
Oh, gosh, it would be a toss up in 4, 5, or 6.
Okay.
I love Ghost Protocol. And then 5 and 6 together, I really enjoy.
Yeah, they're almost one story, aren't they?
Yeah. But you know what? The one that was really surprising to me was number 3.
Thank you. So many people dislike 3. I love Philip in that film.
Oh my gosh. That one was,
I think he's the best villain out of them so far.
Yes. There are so many just emotional punches within that are just, I mean, talk about your emotion of reason to care. I mean,
exactly.
You've set up Michelle Moynihan as, the love interest, and then she's taken. And just all that goes, oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I mean, that one's way up there as well, because it's just, it was so surprising. And so,
So I can totally see why you have this on your number 5. Just for the stunts alone, it's worth it. I love the original for the originality of it. Yes. And like lines like, "You've never seen me angry," and he's pushing the chewing gum together and you're like, "Ooh." The original train scene at the end, with the blades. So good. I love 2 because of the John Woo-ness of it, because it's directed by John Woo, and you have doves flying, and I'm like, yay, we're watching Face Off, but with Mission Impossible. Ridiculous gung fu with bikes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous film, number 2, but it's fun. I am looking forward to. I have my. The reason why I only have it in honorable mentions is because I think originally it was meant to be filmed back to back with number 8 as well. and now they've stopped that. And I think that's due to COVID. So I'm wondering if this is going to be another, like, it's a half of a story.
Oh.
And I hate that. Like Dune.
Yeah.
As much as I love Dune, I really want to see the next part. You kind of need to watch it together.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings had the right idea, film over 2 years, 3 films, become like the best trilogy of all time. Yeah.
Agreed.
There's a template for you.
Yes. Oh, goodness.
Okay. So my 4, which we can skip, is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Wait, did you do your number 5?
Yeah, mine was Doctor Strange.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and
okay.
that was your number 1.
Okay.
And your 5 is MI7.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, everything's confused now.
Yeah, and my 4 is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Okay.
Which, have we done already?
Yes, we did that.
On your side?
Yes.
Okay, so what's your Thor 4?
What's
your
Thor?
Thor?
My Thor.
Yeah.
My number 4 is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
I know the title, but I don't know the film.
Nicolas Cage.
Damn it. I don't even have this on my list.
Seriously? Oh my gosh. The trailer had been out for several days, and I kept seeing little bits and pieces of it, and I'm like, oh, I don't even know what this is. And then I clicked on it and watched it, and was just, my jaw was open because it is absolutely ridiculous. I mean,
there's a few other famous actors in this as well, isn't there?
Pedro Pascal is in it as well, which just the whole premise of Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage.
It's like Malkovich.
Yeah, it's so, and him acknowledging, at least in the trailer and the way that they framed it, that he's a little unhinged and he's a little nutso in spots, I mean, when they get to the, have you seen the trailer?
No, I've avoided it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then I won't talk about it.
I think you mentioned it to me. No, it's fine. Okay. You can say it. I will.
Well, he sees this wax sculpture or wax figurine of himself. And it is not like a Madame Tussauds or Tussauds where they're exquisitely done. This one is, you can kind of tell it's Nicolas Cage, but not really. I mean, it's a knockoff.
There are some of those obscure knockoff ones that you're like, that's not really.
Yeah. Well, and he's seeing it, and his reaction to it is just so funny because it's not what you think it's going to be. And so that, just within the trailer, it was like, oh, I hit my microphone there. And just some of his interactions with Pedro Pascal also, just the whole, the banter back and forth, really, at least what they've shown in the trailer. I mean, obviously.
And Pedro's got great dry comedy timing as well.
Yeah. So them together, I have high hopes for. I think it's going to be outstanding. Now, where it goes and how it all plays out, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be a ridiculous mess and just doesn't work, but what we've seen so far has me very excited.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, when I was doing my research for like all the films and I was correlating, this one didn't come up once. So interesting that people like either don't want to talk about the Nicolas Cage or they don't know about it. But yeah, considering that this is my rating system that I use Nicolas Cage's, definitely will watch this for sure.
Awesome.
So that was your 4.
That was my number 4.
Okay. My number 3 is Spider-Man Across the Verse Part 1.
Oh, that's my honorable mention.
Oh, okay, cool. Because that's my favorite Spider-Man.
Okay.
Like of all time, the animated one we just had. So it's the same team, but now they're doing their own storyline, which I'm guessing we're just gonna have so many more different Spider-Man. And I expect Spider-Pig. And
yes, we better have Spider-Pig.
We need Spider-Pig. I just think it's so fun, and if they manage to capture the same magic, it won the Oscar for Best Animated Film. So
as it should.
Yeah, it was incredible.
The animation was stunning. Yes,
was. Yeah. So here's fingers crossed that it's as good. What's your 3?
The Northman.
Yeah, the Viking one, right?
Yes.
Is it?
Viking? Yeah. It's from Robert Eggers, who did The Witch and The Lighthouse. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not a, kind of like the A24 fanboys, there's a Robert Eggers fanboy clique also. I'm not that.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of The Lighthouse, to be honest.
Oh, see, I love The Lighthouse, The Witch. I appreciate.
Oh, you didn't like The Witch so much, yeah.
Well, I didn't like it the first time. Like, I didn't get it at all. And then I think that was because I was watching it with the wrong horror mindset. I was watching it as a traditional horror, and that's not what it is. It's a much more complicated and much more thinking horror that is more in line with the horrors that we have gotten in recent years. Not your slashers, but more like the Midsummers or,
Yes.
Hereditary, things like that. And so I went back and I rewatched it, and I had a brand new appreciation for it.
Okay.
I thought it was, excuse me, I thought it was really well done. It didn't freak me out, at all. And so, yeah, from there, there you go. But I'm really looking forward to this movie. I mean, I think, I don't remember who's in the cast anymore. I know that they had been announcing, some people. I was like, oh, they're in the cast now as well. But I don't know anything about it other than it's kind of like Norse mythology. Probably there's some kind of supernatural element that falls within there. And then, it's some outright craziness and brutality or something. So yeah.
Okay. Oh, hopefully it's one of those that works on multiple levels.
Yeah.
Because you do need to appeal to, unless you're just going for a specific type of audience, which means unless that specific type of audience is big, you lose out money. So you want your film, even when it's weird and eclectic and bonkers, you still want it to be able to appeal to a large adult or young audience. So hopefully it's one of those that does that.
Yeah.
My number 2, I think we're at 2. Yeah.
Yes.
Is, well, do you know what goes 320 miles an hour?
No.
A bullet train. And this is my number 2. It's called Bullet Train. Have you heard of this?
I've not heard of this at all.
Okay, so this comes out this year. It's directed by David Leitch, who did the John Wick films, and stars Brad Pitt. So it's it's supposedly coming out July. 5 assassins wind up on a Japanese bullet train and soon realize their assignments are connected. So David Leitch doing martial arts on a bullet train that goes 320 miles an hour with Brad Pitt. I'm sold.
Yeah.
I want it. I want it.
Okay. I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah. Something different, fresh, from a director I love with actors I really enjoy. So, yeah.
Well, and it sounds like it'll be a little different even for Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I mean, he does. I mean, it's not like he hasn't done like some
Mr. and
action-y
Mrs.
type of
Smith,
things.
he was great at that.
But how many years ago was that?
A while. So it'd be interesting to see what he does or what they expect him to do for this. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I like him as an actor. So
yeah, he's great. Yeah. Recently watched 12 Monkeys with him because I bought my wife the special edition. Like this, it has got the poster and everything, and we realized it's a Christmas movie. Yeah. Oh my gosh, he's so good in that. I mean, Bruce Willis is great in it as well, but Brad Pitt, oh my gosh.
Yes. That's actually on my list of things to watch in the next couple of weeks because my youngest son has never seen it, and so we're gonna sit down and watch that. But yeah,
it's strangely poignant for the times we're living in now.
Yes.
It hits harder than you're like, this not
little too on the nose there.
It's doing. Okay then.
Okay, well, good. Yeah.
So what's your 2?
Watching. My 2 is probably your number 1. I'm guessing, but we'll see. The Batman. No. Oh, okay.
No.
I'm just really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. I'm looking, to see what Robert Pattinson can do. And let's not. I mean, Paul Dano also as the Riddler looks phenomenal. I mean, I love him as an actor, so I think that's going to be fun. But Colin Farrell
As the Penguin.
is unrecognizable. I mean, it's like when I saw Jared Leto in House of Gucci, just but even more so. And so I've done my best to stay away from pretty much all of the trailers, just because I don't want to know too much,
Yeah.
And so I think they'll go in. It looks very dark, very maybe twisted a little bit. I know that seems more violent. The Batman does in this, which I'm looking forward to kind of that angle of that. So, yeah, there you go.
Okay, well, I guess we're doing honorable mentions now before I do my one. And yeah, so Batman was on there because I'm just not sure about it. I'm not sold by everybody's hype for this movie. I think it looks very grumpy. It's like Batman The Dark Knight was dark before, and now he looks even darker. It looks like less
night.
budget, more rust on his car. Everything has that brown, dirty feel to it. It looks like he hasn't got a budget. It's like, this is like, okay, I know he wears black, and I know he's moody, and I have absolute faith in Robert Pattinson. I'm a huge fan of his acting. Actually, I think he's a phenomenal actor.
Yeah,
I think that there was one film I saw him in. It was something to do with 9/11. And it just hit me like a dump truck, like the way he acted in that film. I thought was incredible. So, forget Twilight. I think he was great in most other things. So I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also very worried about it. So my expectations are tempered. My other honorable mentions is Avatar 2, which comes out in Christmas, supposedly. Yep. And I don't think I need to put any reason as to why. And my last honorable mention is Prey. Have you heard of Prey? Prey. Not the Netflix movie.
Okay. Then no, I haven't.
This is, and I put it on honorable mention because I think this could be hilarious to review. It's a Hulu original movie. It's called Prey, but it's the next Predator movie.
Oh.
It's going direct to Hulu as an original film.
Oh,
which
yeah.
gives you an idea of what type of film it will be. So just for reviewing, I mean, my expectation is way down there. It's down there with like Predator versus Alien. In fact, I probably will enjoy it more than Predator versus Alien more because it's so silly. I enjoyed it for those silly moments. This one looks like it's taking itself serious. But then the last one didn't take itself serious at all. It was a 12, a Predator movie, which is ridiculous. Yeah. So anyway, that's why I've put it in my honorable mentions.
I do remember that one. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
But my number one, and have you got more honorable mentions?
I don't know. Avatar 2 would be in my honorable mentions too. But
okay, my number one, and I'm surprised you haven't mentioned it, Chris. But Hocus Pocus 2. I'm most excited about this film. I think it's going to be amazing. Nobody expected me to say that.
No, not at all. Oh my gosh. I mean, I am looking forward to it also. I think it's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
That's what I think is brilliant, that they got everybody. That's the thing. Okay.
And I take you by surprise for that one. Forget Batman, give me Hocus Pocus 2. Everyone like, what is? Do I watch this? I'm unsubscribe.
Oh, fun. Oh, that's great. All right.
Well, those are our films.
Yes.
How are we doing on time? Should we go quicker for the next bunch, or are we doing?
I think we can go quicker on the next because there's my first. I only have 9, not 10. Okay. My first several of them are just more so just mentions type because I don't know much about them. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. You're number 10.
Well, I don't have a number 10, so you go.
My number 10.
And then I'll go to number 9.
Okay. Alice in Borderlands 2. We're getting the second season this year.
How is that not on my list? Oh my gosh.
How's that not on your list, Chris?
How is that not on my list? Oh my goodness. I love
based
the first
obviously
season.
On the Japanese manga. And the first one was brutal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But they did leave some story to be told. So
Yes.
yeah, that's my 10.
Okay. My number 9 is She-Hulk. I'm intrigued.
I didn't have this. Yeah, I totally forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But we don't know much. You're right. Yeah. My number 9 is Reacher. And the reason why it's at number 9 is because I have faith in Amazon because they do these type of series quite well. Mm-hmm. But they've also done very similar series like Jack Ryan, which is very similar to, is it Jack Reacher as well?
It is Jack Reacher, yeah.
It is Jack Reacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just like, you need to do something that's your own, but I've always felt that Reacher would have been a better series than the movies are. The Tom Cruise films are fun, but I just don't think they're his best work. Also, the character is very different to the book. Apparently, it looks completely different to Tom Cruise as well. So, yeah, okay.
Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, I think I have screeners for that. So I'll be checking that out soon. Yeah.
Okay.
My number 8 is The Umbrella Academy, season 3.
Yeah, I have this somewhere. It's
do
my
you?
number 4. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just the way that it they're now following, or at least going to put some focus on the sparrows. Which
it's the final season as well. There's no more afterwards.
Is it really?
Apparently.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting choice then to go that way.
Because there's no more books, so
that makes sense then. Okay. So okay, yeah. I mean, I've had fun with the characters and with the show up until now. So see where it goes.
Yeah, I always like weird. So yeah, that's. My 8 is The Boys season 3, which is coming in June. They're doing the thing with the 3 episodes again, and then it's weekly and ending in July. So drop the first 3, and then it's weekly episodes.
Okay.
But I don't need to say anything about The Boys because everybody, if you've watched The Boys, you know what The Boys is.
My kids love that show. They're just totally enamored with it. My number 7, Moon Knight. Oscar Isaac.
I'm kicking myself. I don't have this in my list. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know anything about it.
Maybe it's because I don't know much about it. But yeah,
I know nothing about it. No, I don't know anything about the character either, except I like Oscar Isaac, so we'll just go with that.
I think you're in for a treat then. A very interesting character, very different.
Okay,
to
cool.
Your normal. It's not just a Batman, guys. Come on. A lot of people say, "Isn't this just like Batman?" No, read the comics. Okay, my number 7 is Magic: The Gathering, because I've really liked what Netflix have done with Arcane, and so this is another animated series, obviously by a very, very famous game, Magic: The Gathering card game, game now, huge numbers in audience. I imagine it'll get a second season. So yeah, this is coming in a few months.
What type of animation is it? Do you know?
No idea.
Okay.
We haven't seen anything yet.
Anything?
From it, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Let me see how they tackle that. My number 6 is Bridgerton, season 2.
Oh, surprising. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I loved the first season.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that at the end they revealed who.
That's a bonkers decision. Yeah, I didn't understand that. Who the writer was. Who the
town gossip type of thing. You know, I thought that was a little odd of a choice.
I think it also did like an ending explained like me theorizing that it still wasn't her and that was a mislead. But apparently that's not the case. People that have read the book said, yeah, it is. But they only reveal it in like the 3rd or 4th book.
Huh.
So that was a decision by Netflix then.
Yeah. Well, and this new story, I mean, they're gonna focus on different couples in this next story. So
he's not even coming back, I think. I think he may have one scene, the one that everybody loved, yeah?
Yeah,
I forget his name now. Yeah.
Reggie Jean Paul?
Yeah.
Is that something like that?
That's Reggie.
Yeah, I mean, I really did. I really loved the first season. I was blown away by it, and I just sucked into it all. But
the costume designing, the acting, the world, it's very like the British series we have, but obviously it's expanded on a different time zone and law that doesn't quite exist or hasn't existed, but they've made it real. Like they have the different, I guess, people groups, the cultures that weren't actually represented, but because I think it's from the creators of, what's her name? Shinoda the Shinoda.
Oh, Shonda Rhimes.
Yeah, Shonda Rhimes. So the Shondaverse, because she's got like a whole bunch of projects with Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this. She's bringing in culture, twisting it slightly, and I thought it was very interesting. It's also interesting because you see people's racism cards come out and go, "Oh, well, that's not how it was." I'm like, yeah, and it's not a real story. It's not based on fact, and
yeah, it's based on books.
Yeah,
and just the story was entertaining. So yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So that's an interesting one that you have there in your list. What number was that?
6.
So I need to do my 6.
6. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Raised by Wolves. The second season comes out this year. I was absolutely enamored by the first season. I love me some sci-fi, and I love it when it makes you think a bit. And the way it left at the end, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but
I haven't seen all of it, no.
Okay. The way it left it at the end made me go, oh, what's that mean? And so I'm very much looking forward to seeing. Was this a Ridley Scott one?
Yes.
I feel like it was, yeah.
Yeah.
One of his great. In terms of the visual style and the look of it, I was just sold every episode. I know it had a bit of a dip and people weren't exactly sold with the story, but I loved it. I thought it was really different.
Cool.
So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed what I've seen so far of it. So I'll have to finish it up so that I can be ready for season 2.
Yeah.
So right on. My number 5 is I'm hesitantly excited for this. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also not looking forward to it because I'm not sure it needs to exist, and I'm not sure I want it to exist. It's The Lord of the Rings.
Okay, this is my number 2. Yeah.
Okay. Because I love the trilogy, so much that I'm curious at what they're going to do and why this needed a series.
So they're just telling a story in Middle Earth, and it's not to do with the same, like it's a different time.
Okay.
So
okay.
Yeah, it stands on its own. It's in the universe of Lord of the Rings.
And going on while other events are happening or before events happening.
It's
or
like
after.
a different age even.
Oh,
like
okay.
Yeah, it's stories we haven't heard from. So they can completely do their own thing, but still use wizards and orcs and, you know, all of what we know and love.
Okay.
So I think that's a good way to go, because then that gives you space to be creative and not kind of mess with the established lore.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so my number 5, I'm also kind of wary of, considering how season 8 of this finished, but this is House of Dragon. That comes out this year, the first season. It's set 400-500 years before the greatest show that didn't end well, Game of Thrones. Decisions of characters making decisions that will confuse people forever.
Yes. Yes.
But you can't deny that it was one of the greatest TV series ever, and every week people were huddled around their television screens. It was like a pandemic of Game of Thrones. Like, if you weren't watching Game of Thrones, you were not cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't watch Game of Thrones? What do you like, man? Get on that. Also had like the most amount of gore and sex that you could get away with in a TV series. But I mean, I think it's the characters that we loved.
Yeah, you know, it's always funny, like, as I'm going through sometimes IMDb, and it'll, you know, if I've seen somebody in something else, and I'm like, where have I seen them? And it'll list Game of Thrones, and I'll, you know, be like, who is that character? And it lists some random name. And if you weren't one of the major ones in there, it's like, I don't remember you.
There were so many that got killed off randomly.
Yeah, there were so many people in this series. So even, you know, and I'm like, well, that's not who I was thinking of, you know. But the main cast, I mean, just, and the storyline itself, that was one that really, I mean, it drew me in. And I still had fun with the ending. I don't think it did the story that had built up for us nearly as much justice. It was not the story that the series deserved to end with.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Did feel rushed in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, my number 4 is one that, again, I don't really know much about, and I'm liking it that way. It's The Sandman coming to Netflix.
Oh, this is my number one. Yeah.
Is it real? Okay. Yeah, because it's just Neil Gaiman's, or Gaiman's, I don't know how you pronounce his last name, but I haven't read the comic or the graphic novel that it's comes from. I know none of the lore. I know none of the characters. And yet I'm like, okay, let's see what you do with this.
I'm so excited for this series. So excited. I've read the graphic novel. I've listened to the audiobook. There's like 2 parts of the audiobook. I'm busy listening to the second one. I'm on board. And I've looked at like the teaser trailer for this with the characters that they've got. And I'm like, damn, they've done that well. So I know Neil Gaiman's completely involved in this. So it looks like it will be done with justice. The same as he was involved with Good Omens, which was his as well. So I've got faith that this one could be one of the adaptations that Netflix doesn't get wrong, because the creators are involved in it, which is great.
Well, he was really involved even in the casting. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's,
he knew like this is what they look like. Yeah.
Which I think that's really important,
Absolutely.
Because as like for somebody like you who's read the graphic novel, who've listened to the books, there's just all of these things. I mean, you have these mental images, some because you've been shown it in the graphic novel, but and so to have somebody who just doesn't really resonate with that.
The Sandman is such a particular character. The description of him, he looks weird. It's an unearthly look to him. He doesn't look human. So that the character, I don't know if you've seen the poster shot of him, they found someone that has a very different look. Oh. Like if you were like doing a lineup of going, point out the aliens, he would be one of them.
Okay. Right on.
Cool. So... My 4 is the Umbrella Academy, so we've done that one already. So what's your 3 then?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Is that this year?
Supposedly.
Ah, damn it. Okay.
Yeah.
If that was this year, if I knew it, I would have had that probably at my number 1, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love Ewan McGregor, so I think.
Yeah. Sign me up.
Yeah. So we'll see. And again, know nothing about it. I'm, the Star Wars fan base is passionate, to say the least. So it will be interesting to see how this resonates with them once we get it. I know that the Book of Boba Fett has been very mixed reviews.
Has had very mixed reviews. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm loving it so far.
Me too.
I'm fully on board. So I don't know where it's going, but that's okay. Anyway. So yeah, that's my number 3.
3? Okay, so my number 3 and the last one for me, because we've already done Lord of the Rings and Sandman, is Witcher Blood Origin, because I've loved what they did with the sequel. But at the end of Witcher Season 2, if you stayed and watched through the credits, you would have got that trailer before they aired it, which is great. I was like, a little, like it's one of those things where they say it's a teaser or like an ending clip, but it was a whole trailer for Witcher Blood Origins. And I think that's Michelle Yeoh again, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah.
I think so. And then the whole cast, it looks very different from The Witcher because it is an origins. It really is the origins of The Witcher. I think one of the first Witchers, or how they came about to get their powers. And I think that's going to be a very interesting story. It's probably a one-off, but I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah. And I'm okay with a one-off. You know what I mean? Like when they can, sometimes the limited series I think are actually better. You know, that
I agree. Yeah.
Open and shut. All right. Then my number 2 is, I came late to this, and actually it's a British show that was not really available in the US for quite some time. And I actually subscribed to AMC Plus so that I could watch this.
No, you haven't mentioned that.
It is, the first season is probably the most violent TV show I've ever watched. Gangs of London. Season 2 is coming out, and I am so excited for this. I mean, it
What's a series? Seriously.
Every episode contains at least one ultra-violent, bonkers action scene. And just when you're like, wow, okay, they can't top this. The next episode comes and they're like, what the heck? And the thing I love about it is that the story is compelling too. It's not just action. I mean, the action fits within the story. You have the compelling story and these really great deep characters, and that are just really all messed up and convoluted and, complexities and damaged. And then you pile on the violence that fits within that. And that's where it's just like, oh, okay, I'm fully on board now. So
yeah, because Gareth Evans created that. But have you seen the Raid films?
Not yet. I know. I feel all of the disappointment coming at me, not only from you, but from the world.
Because if you liked the action in Gangs of New York, that's what he cut his teeth on, is the Raid films. Well,
and that terrible Mark Wahlberg movie, Mile 22.
What's wrong with that film?
Huh?
It's the greatest film ever. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it was 22 years in my seat.
So I'm trying to talk like him. Hey man, come on guys.
Say hi to your mother for me. The only good part of that was I can't even remember the actor's name, but he is a martial artist. And he was phenomenal in there. And then I found out that he's the one in the Raid movies.
Yes.
And so
there's an action sequence where it goes from a gunfight from a car into a shop, and I think that's where he really gets to shine in Mile 22. And I thought, yeah, that's a good scene. I wish the whole film was like that, but it wasn't. But Gangs of London. I was going to say Gangs of New York, Gangs of London. I like how there's action, like you were saying, when it needs to be for the story, because you can go for whole episodes and there aren't action scenes. Like definitely not those close combat martial art ultra violence action scenes. They're just like, they would talk about the mother will slap them, they'll get into the family politics, and then the next will be like a gun shootout that's totally different and unique as well, that's brutal, and the next will be this long warehouse hand combat fight, and then the next one will be in a bathtub fighting scene, which is, there's that one scene in that's so brutal. Man alive. Like I was just like, I thought they were gonna stop, and then it just carries on. Like they fall out and then they fight more, and you're like, stop, oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, and it has this sense of realism too, that they're I mean, because of the way that the camera is positioned and how it follows them, and then just the physicality, they're breathing heavy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
they're tired. They've been hurt a lot. I think the one guy's arm is broken, or they're bleeding. It's messed up, man. That's a great number one. Yeah, and hopefully that we don't have to wait too long for that.
Yeah.
So,
do you have honorable mentions?
I do. Do you have some?
I don't have any. No.
Okay, so you're going to be upset with this one. I'm about to start watching The Ozark, but this is I loved every season. Your face. I loved every season of The Ozark. I'm a little bit worried that they've split it in two, and it's been so long. So I do wonder if it's going to be as good. But looking at the length of each episode, most of them are over an hour. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, they've given time to it. And that's what I liked about it. The story is really in depth. There's no black and white characters. Everybody's kind of rough around the edges and bad. Like, there's no real good person. It's just, you kind of are rooting for this family, but along the way, you start rooting for the druggies. And you're like, the one particular character, who, what's her name?
Ruth.
Ruth. I love Ruth. Ruth is amazing. She's the best.
Yes.
I feel protective of her.
Yes.
So, yeah. Right. And so
yes.
I'm looking forward to seeing. Also, not really looking forward because it's so dark in some episodes. I don't know if you're going right back to episode 1, Ozark, where there's this sitting down and there's like one person's gonna die. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is really, really tense. And then it kind of doesn't let up. Like once the family's in trouble.
No,
it's brilliant.
Well, in the way that episode that season 3 ends,
right? What's going to happen?
We were all like,
yeah,
okay.
So, Chris, are you going to go and watch these as well? I'm sorry.
That's hurtful.
That's
See,
hurtful.
Ruben and I have discussed this because Ruben told me, he's like, hey, I got the screeners for Ozark, when I was specifically told by Netflix that they are not doing advanced screeners. And that
I don't get it. You have
they
20,000 more subscribers than me, Chris. For what purpose or reason? How is their logic?
I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why they specifically told me they were not providing screeners, and yet clearly they are.
I mean, maybe you need to join up like me as a Scientologist. Like maybe you need to be part of the gang.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. So
anyway.
Yeah. Anyway,
so another one. There's another anime based on the Cyberpunk 2077 game.
Oh.
That's a Netflix one. It's called Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and it's an anime. I don't know much about it, but I'm really looking forward to it because those two worlds together, I think, could be really fun if done well. And this one, Stranger Things season 4. I think we've talked about it a few times, but the reason why it's honorable, and it should be my number one. It's like one of my all-time favorite trilogies of TV series so far. It's been so long, and I really don't know what they're going to do with it. And if they're going to do another season after season 4, then how long are they going to make us wait for that? The actors are getting older. They're not young anymore. We've seen them in many other films since, big blockbusters.
Yeah.
It just feels like you guys need to put your content out now. Like, stop making us wait. I'm pretty sure they're done. Like, they've done the filming and they've been just holding off. Either put 4 and 5 back together or somehow finish it up well in 4.
Yeah, you're going to have to, because our actors, I mean, their voices have changed.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've gotten considerably taller. Their bodies have morphed as they've gotten older, which is natural. I mean, there's no fault of them. It's just, you need to speed up the production here, and you need to get us the content, and then.
But I mean, that never-ending story moment is one of the greatest television moments I've had in recent years. The build up to it, and then him singing it, whilst the giant monster is after them. Brilliant, genius.
So good.
Yeah. So that brings me to the end of my ramblings.
All right. Well, here is my number one then.
Okay.
I have only seen a teaser. Now let me set the tone for the teaser.
Okay.
It's about 45 seconds long, maybe.
Gosh.
It's dark. There is dark water. Out in the distance is an ocean liner. There is some dark orchestral music playing, and interspersed is some screams. And as the camera slowly and patiently pushes in, you get From the Creators of Dark,
and you're like,
1899.
I'm sold.
Okay, so my youngest son and I, we have watched Dark a couple of times back to back. We love it. I mean, just sucked in the entire way. We've discussed this, and we're like, they don't need anything else. I don't need another trailer. I don't need a teaser. I don't need anything. You have already told me everything I need to know to suck me into this show. You said From the Creators of Dark. I'm good. This is my number one show of all time. So to now have, and I may be setting myself up for some massive disappointment too. But
imagine if it's crap.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine that it would be. I mean, it may not live up to the hype that I'm setting up in my own head, but they've taken a while for this, so I'm hoping. And truly, I know nothing about it.
Nobody does really. Yeah.
Yeah, and which is exactly how I want it. Because if Netflix does any trailers for it, I'm not watching them. I won't read the synopsis. I won't do anything.
I won't send you stills via Messenger.
Unfriend.
Block, delete.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, so this one is, if I could only watch one show this year, if I were only allowed to watch one.
So it's really hyped up there for you.
Yeah, this one would be the one that, which is probably moronic on my point because I know nothing about it, but I'm just going based on the genius that they brought with such a twisted show. You know, I mean, Dark was so convoluted and so complex, and yet you could follow along
until the end. Yeah, and then you're like, it really does fit. It was like that separately, and then went.
Yeah, they brought it all together. Which I mean, even in the first season, I'm like, I need a spreadsheet. You know what I mean? For people like I remember us pausing it partway through, the season, going, "Wait, who is that? Who is
my
that?"
First season review? When I was doing my review, I was like, "And these 3 timelines," and then people were like, "No, there's 6," and then somebody else went, "No, there's 7," and then somebody else went, "No, there's 9." And I went, "What?" And they were all like, "This is where you go then," and that person from that went backwards, and I was like. So good.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, there you go.
Not really an honorable mention, but I think it's coming out this month or next month. We've got 2. One is The Peacemaker, which follows on from, I think, could be fun. We just don't know. I think it could be fun. And we've got another zombies. I think it's South Korean. All of Us Are Dead.
Yes. I'm looking forward to that one too.
And I think that could be good. Just we don't know much about it, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hesitantly excited for that because just parts of it look like maybe rehashing of some things that we've already seen before.
Yeah.
Concepts, so I don't know. We'll just have to see how they tackle it. I think that's going to be the biggest thing.
But definitely some interesting stuff coming out this month. So
absolutely.
That is our films and TV series, our top 10. It was difficult getting it down. I mean, think we could have been 3-4 hours just talking about. And I know we haven't even touched on some of the stuff like the World Cinema TV series or World Cinema films. There are bound to be loads that thankfully Netflix are quite good at.
Yeah.
But if you're listening or you're watching and you're like, how can you have missed those out? I know for a fact that there are a few great Indian movies and films coming out that we haven't even touched on. So let us know your list of things that you were looking forward to. That can be over 10, can be 100 if you like. Tweet us at Best We Watch and let us know what is your list. We'd love to chat to you in the comments about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, because then it'll help also make sure that I have it on my list of things when they come up. I mean, that's, because there's bound to be some that are off my radar. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for
Happy New Year.
For sticking around, for tuning in, for giving us your support. If you want to find out, if you want to get the best thing that we watch when we do our discussion, our regular weekly discussion, along with some news and things that we're looking forward to, head over to the audio portion of the podcast. You can catch that on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, pretty much everywhere. And if you happen to go there and you happen to listen to it, please rate and review us. That helps us out a bunch. But also, hey, if you're just tuning us in, that makes no sense. If you're just checking us out for the first time here on the video, like and subscribe, whether it's on mine with Movies and Munchies or with Ruben at the Ruby Tuesday. We review movies, TV shows, all kinds of stuff like that on a very, very regular basis. So we'd love to have your support there. And I guess that's it. We'll catch you all next week. Take care.
Catch you on the flip side.